All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Monday night Team Passion calls. We are starting these back up at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I know it's not always a convenient time for everybody, but if I do this any later, I will be asleep. So I definitely am doing this on my time and my schedule. And I think Monday nights is just a great way to kind of kick off the week. And so thank you, ladies, for hopping on. I knew this was going to be a rough night with the holiday, but I still wanted to keep it going because I want to keep the consistency happening Monday nights, 7:30. And I will do an event each week and put it in the partner group so that everybody knows what is happening. I find it easier when we have an event happening that we remember, and I can kind of keep posting it and stuff like that. So tonight I wanted to talk about vision and goals, but mostly vision. We could take a whole another half hour on goals, so I'm going to touch upon them quickly. But I've been thinking a ton this week, and definitely post summit. It's been a while since I've actually visualized things happening in business and career and life, and like I set goals, I have ideas in my head, but it's been a while since I've actually visualized. And I've been sharing a lot on social media that it's been 6 years of grief and loss and COVID and just this cycle. And I think many of us were just in this survival mode, and we definitely were just like focusing so much on our mental health, which is great. We got to still do that. But it was so like, it's okay. Let's just give ourselves grace and give ourselves a break. It's okay. And I think we went too far in that end instead of still kind of pushing ourselves. But I think it was needed for us because of course, COVID was new for all of us. No, none of us were alive during the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918 or whatever, right? So we don't know, this was new. This was like, what? And then with technology and everything in this world, like just shutting down, it was a lot. So I love that that was addressed at Summit, and that it's time to kind of get back to pushing, to making our goals happen, making our visions happen with the consistent activities. Hopefully you've been following along in the Body Basics group with the 15-star trainings. I had the pleasure of listening to Danny Detra. I don't know if that's how you say her last name, hopefully, in a leadership training at Summit. And I was like, I kind of love her. And then today I was like, yes, I definitely love her. Like, she was hysterical again today, trying not to swear. But just, she definitely kept it real. And her message today was like, if you think you're sharing about the business enough, chances are you're not. And she talked about shifting completely to only sharing about the business. And she make sure you watch the training because she goes into a lot of what that looks like and why she's saying it and how it shifted for her. But I loved that. And so I made a social media post immediately after that. I mean, that's why I got into this. I truly got into this for the business. The side effect was that I had to work out and eat healthy, like in order to make money in this business. So like that was the bonus. But I came in for the income opportunity. And so just learning how to talk about that again and not stressing so much of having to put the income disclaimer there. It is what it is. I got to put it there. So I'm just going to do it and put it there and not stress about it. Like I always was like, oh, it looks so weird. Or, I would just come up with these things in my head, but it is what it is. We've got to do it. And so I'm just going to get consistent on doing that again. And I'll probably post it in different, like I'll do a story. I'll share my event. I'll, do a post, do a carousel, do a reel, like, so doing it in every single day, posting about the business opportunity, inviting to the business opportunity, but all over different aspects of social media. So I was getting into that groove before Summit. And I would probably do about 4 days a week. So I would really love to do all 7. So that's going to be a goal of mine to make sure that that's what I'm doing. But visualizing again, I want I want us to give ourselves permission to truly be honest with what we want out of this business, right? We can visualize lots of things in our lives, but for this purposes of this call, this is for the business, right? When I first started this business, I was like, Mark has a full-time job, he makes a full-time income, we're able to meet all of our bills, but there's no room for anything extra, right? And even when before we had kids and we both had full-time jobs, it was the same thing, right? Like it was like we had enough money to cover our bills and maybe get a pizza on Friday nights, but that was it. There was no money for travel. There was no money for retirement. There was no money like for any of that. And it was sad. It was like, gosh, I went to college. Like, what is happening? Like, I'm making good money. Like, why can't, and he is too, like, why can't we do more? Right. And now the cost of living, 20 something years later is even crazier. So that is, people need this more than ever. So when I started this business, I was able to think of those things again. I was able to dream again and actually visualize, wow, we can spend $100 on dinner. I remember one of the first things doing is, Keith was like, hey, do you, Mark and the girls, want to go to, it's called Barrett's now, but it was called the Charlie Horse here. And it was like dinner in an arcade. And it was an easy $150. And I could, I was like, actually, yes, we can do that. We had an extra $150 that week to do something where all four of us could go out to dinner and then the kids could throw 20, 30, $40 into arcade games and have a blast without feeling stretched and uncomfortable. So it was those little things that I was able to start seeing. I was able to, I remember, one of my biggest stories was sitting there one night or one day, and every time we filled the gas tank, it was just put $20 in. We only have enough for $20. Just put $20 in, right? And there was a time I was sitting there. We were a family. I think we were heading to like the beach or something. And Mark called out to me, okay, how much? And I was like, you know what? Fill it. And then I started to cry, like not even realizing what those two words meant. Like, oh my gosh, we could finally fill the gas tank, right? And I was like, holy crap. And just those, I want you to pay attention to those little moments. I had another moment like that at Summit where we were trying to find our way into the convention center. It was like huge. And we were on the Riverwalk. And I was like, it's right there. Why can't I get in these doors? Like all the doors were locked. Like we couldn't find the entrance. And we finally got inside and we were on these desolate hallways, but we were with these two other girls, young girls. They just had their first babies and they were adorable. And they're like, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, 13 years. And they're like, what? And then they had shared that they had just had their babies. And I was like, oh, she was actually, Ella was standing right next to me. And I was like, she was actually 2 months old when I started this business. And I was like, oh my God, like, look at her now. Like she was standing there as a 13-year-old. So like, connecting those dots like is such a big aha moment that you can look at and realize, wait, this is what this business afforded me, and not even realizing, and then make a social media post about that, right? And start visualizing the bigger things. I am a coach who have always been driven by rank. I'm a very visual person. So in order for, I can see a rank, right? I can see diamond. Diamond is 4 coaches on left leg, 4 coach partners on the right leg, and 2 of those are emeralds, 1 on each leg. 12 total partners. I can count how to get there. I know how to get there. I can visualize it, and that is diamond. And then I could do that with Mark's account. And I was like, okay, now we're going to get Mark's account to diamond. We need 12 partners, 4 on this leg, 4 on that, right? And I could see that when I'm talking about like increasing volume and hitting income. I can see the numbers. I know what my numbers need to look like in volume on my left leg and my right leg to hit a certain income goal. But I can't see that as in, okay, so that means 12 people. Like, it's not as simple to me in my mind. So I just went, okay, I just need to get to 5-star. And we're just going to be a 5-star team, which means we're going to be elite. And I know that that's 3 diamonds on this leg and 2 diamonds on this leg. And this is how we're going to do it. As soon as I get one person on this leg to diamond, and then I get Mark, that means I can open a second CBC because I'm 2-star. So that I'll put that one over on this leg. So I am in control of that. So now we're automatically a 3-star team. Wait, I just need 2 people to pop to, like, I can talk through that. Where if I'm looking at my volume and my income, I'm like, okay, so now I need 10,000 on this leg. Where's that going to come from? Like, how do I can't equate that to people, right? Like, it's just something that I know will grow. And so by running up to 5-star, 10-star, 15-star, volume grew, income grew as a result of me shooting for rank, right? So that's where I'm headed back. So as I'm sitting here visualizing tonight, I made a new, this is the first time I'm saying this out loud to more than one person. I made a new graphic in my little pic collage that says 15-star diamond partner. And it's the wallpaper on my phone. I have a similar story to Bonnie Engel where we were running up to 15-star. Everybody was on board. Everybody wanted to do it. We got to 13-star. We were then 14-star qualifying. And I was like, okay, oh my God, we're going to do this. And the next week we dropped down to 7-star. Like 7 diamonds just crumbled. And I was like, what just happened? And they weren't really hitting Success Club and they weren't really signing people. So I was like, are they done? What just happened? and I was asking them and they're like, oh, it's just so hard. And I'm like, okay, I can't pull them along. They've got to want it. It was like, so this time I want to build to 15-star with people who truly are running up to not just diamond, but they're thinking ahead to 2-star and 5-star. Not everybody wants to be a 15-star, and I get that, but 2-star, 5-star, if you truly want a lucrative business, those are the 2. And you can stay there consistently, strongly, and build a very good income at that. Like at a 5-star diamond, you can maximize the compensation the cycles in the compensation plan. You can make $6,000 a week in team cycle bonuses as a 5-star. Not bad, right? And then you'll also have a 2-star business sitting over here, another business center over here that's diamond that you can make $3,000 a week at, right? So there's plenty of income opportunity in a 5-star business center, okay? So that's where, the focus needs to be. So I'm not like I'm creating a vision to be a 15-star diamond team again. But it's not like by next summit, right? Like, I'm not being, that's a little unrealistic because we're a 1-star diamond team right now. I am in control of our 3-star. I have my second business center and Mark's business center are both sitting at emerald, and they just need 1 emerald on. Mark needs an emerald on our right leg. My second business center needs an emerald on our right leg, and we're back to 3-star. So I can see that quickly happening by 720, right? So I can visualize, I can see those. We'll pop back up to 3-star. So then I'm looking, okay, how are we getting to 5-star? And I'm already getting strategic with that, right? And I'm looking in my sponsorship drill down. What can we do? Who's pushing? Who's moving? And I'm gonna get to that, visualizing that point where the only the ones that I know that are pushing are going to be the ones that are signing business partners and hitting Success Club. There's no other way to do it. You can't be a diamond and not hit Success Club and not sign business partners. You just can't. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people, my personally sponsored coaches, that are going to start hitting Success Club and signing business partners, right? And it's not in the journey to 15 star includes everybody, whether you're my personally sponsored or not. You may not directly be one of those stars, but by you pushing and leading, you're growing and you're motivating the rest of the team, and we're all moving forward together, right? So I want you to try to think, and if you've never been diamond, you've never hit Success Club, or you haven't done those things consistently, that's your first visualization, right? And that's where the diamond roadmap comes in. Like, this is very visual. You can see what you need to happen to get to diamond. It's right here in the circles, right? And so for me, wanting to be 15 star, I gotta have 15 of these looking like this, right? And so I will start printing more of these out and work with my coaches and see. I want to look at their diamond roadmap as well. No, they posted this in the Body Basics page, Christina Delgado, and that first, yeah. So I also, so however you want to do your visualization. So I played around super quick before this call and grabbed a vision board app. I don't think this is going to be the one, so I'm not even going to tell you. I was like, oh, I'll tell them what it is. It's not even moving much forward than being able to put in 3 pictures without me paying more money. So I don't think this is going to be the one. I was like, wait, is this one you're giving me? But it basically has like the 15 star. It has some financial goals, and then it has like my 4-week gut protocol after picture from the side, right? Where I know the inflammation is gone, that I want to get back to that. So I just grabbed 3 quick visualizations for me to put in something like this. I always have a really hard time with vision boards on like a big poster board and finding, it takes me too long to find the right pictures. So tonight it took me 5 minutes and I made these my own on my Pic Collage app. I like that one. Yeah, Pic Collage is what I use. I think I do pay for this, like maybe $10 a year or something. And I did the little template and I put the 15 stars that, like, it's way easy for me to use. You could use Canva, whatever you're comfortable with. But I start with a notebook and writing out what the goals are. And then I start figuring out how to visualize it. And I do this in a couple categories. Most of the time it's income related for me. All of my goals are like paying down the pool loan, like paying a little bit extra on the house, getting money into the savings, getting money into my IRA. Again, consistently, because I haven't put anything in there in years. It's just sitting there. It's collecting, but it's just all there. And then by pushing or working towards the 15 star diamond, I know that all of the other things happen that will just working towards those income goals will happen based on that action, right? So you want to visualize what you want. You want to find a way to get that somewhere. Is it going to be just handwritten? It's going to be in different colors. Like sometimes I just write my goals in different colors, right? Are you going to just grab, maybe I'll just take a picture of the pool and put the pool on my, I want to pay the pool loan down. So I'll just put a picture of the pool, right? Like whatever that looks like, then setting your goals based on the vision, and then setting your action step based on that. So this is going to be a work in progress. This is going to be something that you are welcome to message me about and be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. This is what it looks like. How do I get there? So, yeah. So Kelly, I totally get that income. I am income driven too, but how do I get to my income is by building the rank, because you need working coaches to build the income. To just run this up as a retail partner sucks. It's too much
Yeah.
work. It's going to take you would have to sell to make the income that you're thinking you want to make. You'd have to sell 10 challenge packs a week to retail it out at $68. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be daunting. So rank is what you push for, which then increases the income, right? So you got to
Yeah. I mean,
see the income, but to get there, it's got to be rank driven, only because the only way to build your rank is through business builders, and the only way to build your volume is through business builders, and the only way to build your income is through business builders. So it's all connected.
yeah, I totally get that. I'm just saying for me, like on a vision board, if I put rank, it's just not gonna matter. But if I were to put something that's, like a picture of me living a less stressful life, um, a picture of a car payment or something like that, that is what I would need on the vision board. Because
Right.
I was just thinking about this today, because rank means nothing, but I get what you're saying. You have to get to the ranks to get the money, because you're right. Working the retail side is just going to suck,
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, for me on a vision board, I've got to make sure that I'm putting the car picture of the car, or making the
Right.
car payment, or the
Right.
final payment of
Right.
the car, you know.
Yeah. I would put all those things, and then I would put 2-star there just to get something that so you know that you're building towards that, because there are people in this business that, so like Keith, for example. Keith makes more money than most of the 15 stars. And he is a 5-star because he's a 5-star. I think he might have gotten up to 7 or 8. But then he's a 2-star in another business center, a 2-star in another business center, and a 2-star in another business center. So he's always been building all of his business centers, but he builds with volume. So he builds with less people, so to speak. Not less people in the downline, because he has more people in the downline than most 15 stars, but less he builds personally sponsored coaches up, like 5 at a time, so that they're all building to 5. So he has a ton of 5 stars in his downline, versus 15 stars might just have 2 stars and 5 stars. Many of them don't. Like, the last I heard, Janelle Summers was the highest paid partner in the company. I don't know how much, because she has the most number of 5-star diamond elite coaches in her downline. So that's what I'm saying. So 15-star is like one of those, you either want it or you don't, but building for you to build to 2-star to 5-star, and then you to find a ton of people that want to build to 2-star to 5-star, and getting those to stick. Like, so now, Keith has built a ton of 5-stars, but I'm one of the only ones left, right? Like, a lot of people left. So now he's building again back up to, Bob shared the other night on the leadership call that he makes more money than Bob, even though Bob brought him in first, right? So there's that. So I love that whole, like, your upline always makes more than you. That is not true. Like, so it's just people who don't understand the business model, or just want to poo-poo on the business model, right? But yes, whatever is gonna motivate you to look at every day, but then backing it out into reverse engineering it out to, here's my vision, now here are my goals, and now here are my action steps to get there. So to keep this very simple to start, your visualization is to earn more money for whatever those things are for you, vacations, car, travel, sitting at the beach, picture of you sitting at the beach, whatever, your toes in the sand, whatever that looks like, that's the vision. Then you set the goals to get there, which would be 2-star Success Club 10 every month consistently. And then how do I get there? This dang thing every single day consistently. And I am going to start. I have been giving all of you lots of grace in that business activity tracker. Everybody posts everything but the number of people they're talking to. So I am going to start calling people out. This is amazing. I'm going to praise you for at least posting in there, right? Because that's my first goal for you guys. But then I'm going to say, okay, so how many actual invites did you do today? How many actual connections did you make today? How many actual follow-ups, right? So the connections, the invites, and the follow-ups. How many times this week did you share the business? So I'm realizing, I'm finding, like today, I was like, okay, I just did everything on this list in 30 minutes. And then I took another 15 to connect with 22 people. But then I was like, okay, but did I share the business? Wait, I forget. Did I, like, so I need something a little bit more than this, I'm realizing for myself. So that's where I'm going to pull out my, I always forget what this thing's called. What is this thing called? The High Achievers Playbook. So I'm going to pull that out and also have that. And then of course, also having your 10 in play, right? And so you want to have that going too. So, yeah. So when I posted about the business every single day when I was a new coach. So I hadn't done anything yet, right? I would post what my $25 paycheck went to that week. I would post what Keith was able to accomplish in those first 6 months of his business. I would post about filling the gas tank. I would post about not having to charge diapers that week. I would put, right? Like, so when you had your success stories of when you were consistent in making money and having Dawn be able to retire, be laid off for the winter and your income was still covering. Like, so you can still talk about all those stories that did happen and then start creating the own. So even if you make, $40 next week, talk about what that $40 is going to do. And just those little, because that's what people, it's very hard it gets harder for like when I was like, and here's my pool. like that's not, people are like, okay, but I related to you more when you were talking about filling the gas tank, right? So it's those little things that you definitely want to share about. And then and then talk about the goals and the vision in your future and talk about what the last few years have been and maybe why, when you were consistent in the beginning and what that income did for you and how the last few years have been a complete shit show. And then, and then talk about, and now I'm starting to come out of the grief COVID fog a little bit while still honoring and grieving my husband. This is what he would want me to continue to do, and this is how I'm going to honor him. And so he can up there look down and go, I knew you could freaking do it. Like, and just sharing stories like that and how proud he is still going to be of you when you do start creating that income for you and Daniel, and how he can truly rest in peace knowing that you're doing what he knew you could do. So that stuff is all powerful. Doesn't have to be the pool, the car, I'd rather it not be, because it's hard for people to relate to that. So Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I shared in my so I'm rarely able to get on the Zoom for this widows group that I'm a part of because the person who runs it is out of the UK. But I got a chance to get on it Sunday, and I had asked some of the other widows that are further down the road, like what are their experiences when they start to feel like they're kind of coming out of things a little bit, and then I feel instant guilt because I'm starting to feel alive again, and they were like, "Sorry, Hallie, knock it off." Um, honor your feeling. They're like, you got to feel it, right? Honor the feeling, but then just do it. They're like, that's what we had to do. We just had to do it. And then it gets easier. And today I felt myself having an anxiety attack at the thought of even doing anything. But then I got on the national wake up call, and that was really helpful because that was really good today. And so then I was able to kind of like come out of it and come up with the plan of what I'm going to do after the call and after he's asleep and after these assholes have calmed down a little bit. So
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah, for sure. Good, good, good. Any other questions while we were still on here? Like, was that helpful? Like, do you see the vision, the goals, the action? Like, it's three separate entities, but it all comes back to what you can see. Like, I can't see volume increasing. I can't see putting money into my IRA. I could see a new house and a pool way easier than my savings account just climbing, right? Like, but they're all things that I need to do and I want, but it was like, how do I visualize that? Right. And so I had to go back to something that I knew would excite me, which is 15 star, which is I already got strategic on making some messages and figuring out how we're going to do that, knowing that more money is going into the savings, more money is going to go into the IRA. I gotta focus on my results again. We've got to focus on we're going to sell more by showing, and it doesn't have to be like this is going to be tricky too because we're transitioning to this health esteem, which is kind of away from the before and after. So I've been finding myself just posting like a picture of me today in my workout and then telling a story based on that instead of it being. But then I post my before and afters for 4-week gut protocol and everybody was like, well, I need to do that. So like, but I was, instead of talking about what the scale looked like, I talked about the inflammation that I was feeling and how I feel so much more comfortable and how I don't want my leggings rolling under my belly anymore. Like I don't, it's like the most annoying thing. Right. And so those things and learning how to talk about it in more of a health esteem than a before and after, like, because we're just moving away from that, right? And then we're moving away from the diet culture and the weight loss culture and moving more towards just wanting to feel great. And that's why I shared the Tony Horton story, like just how he looks incredible for 65, like, and just wanting to feel better as we age and just kind of make sure we're talking in that sense, but also using Kendra and I cannot remember the other girl's name, the other speaker's name. She was
Aaron,
excited.
it was Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron King. Not
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
I was thinking Ellen King, so we're together, we'll get there.
Yeah. So, and just you going back to their notes. I'm going to go back to their notes because I find myself just doing what I was doing. And I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be better at. There was a lot of eyes in that post, Nicole. Rein it in, And so just going back to those notes and just really making sure we're having people put themselves in our posts and in our story. So good. All right. All right. So we will kind of keep working on this. I forget what I said next week's call was going to be on. I took notes on what I wanted it to be. Oh, I want to talk about how to read your projected rank in that. That's a new feature in our coach office that is like so cool. So I want to teach you guys how to read that each week so that us building to a 15-star diamond team, I don't have to go in your accounts and be like, oh, you need an emerald, we're about to crumble, right? Like, and so to teach everyone, like, I don't want to have to do that anymore. Like a coach from the past messaged me, oh, I'm not making any money anymore. I'm like, yep. You haven't worked the business in many years. You must have dropped rank, but I'm not really paying attention. Like, right? So it's just things like I want to make sure everybody's paying attention to their own business as CEOs and business builders, because that's what you should be doing. So just kind of teaching now from a more, now that I have more knowledge 13 years later and just teaching. But I love that new feature. Like that was never there before. Like someone wrote an Excel spreadsheet with formulas for us to try to figure it out instead of having to go in each account and see who was missing. Like I would sit there every Wednesday night and pull up every diamond and be like, oh, did you know so-and-so's going inactive tomorrow? Oh, did you know that you don't have enough PV? Oh, did you? So no more of that. Which is why we didn't stay where we stayed, right? So yeah, empowering, I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Empowering people to do that themselves. So, all right, so that will be next week's team call, same time, same channel. And thank you ladies for joining, and we will talk to you later. Bye.